Yeah.
Share it. Okay. Does that pop up on your side that we're recording?
Oh, yep. We're recording.
Yay.
Yep. Cool.
We're in. Awesome. So I guess just to get started, like first I want to say I'm super pumped that in the beginning kind of days and weeks of this whole thing, you were the person who really had a positive outlook on things. Like you were the one who was like, this is a good thing. This is a good
Yeah.
thing. Like I feel it. I know it. And even when I was still like, I don't know, this is going to be tough. I'm thinking about my grandfather. I'm thinking about my business, my mortgage, my school loans. And you're like, no, this is good. This is good. And your thought and attitude kind of was something that like I kept in my mind in the beginning when I was struggling. So that was big for me. And so I thought it was cool to kind of connect today and talk about that, talk about those first impressions that you were getting and that place of love and gratitude that you were able to come from, even in the midst of tragedy, even in the midst of uncertainty, even in the middle of this whole thing and just day by day things changing, you were able to hold on to that positive attitude.
Yeah.
So what were you getting and what's going on?
Hmm. Well, I was getting a lot of down. That was probably like the first time I started really getting downloads was when this all happened. And I started getting into like the conspiracy theory part of it. And actually, in a weird way, that kind of helped
Mhm.
get me to where ended up being and being okay with what's going on with this in a weird way. Um, I think the knowing of the awakening too, that helped. And being in that frame of mind helped to like keep me in that positive state because I remember when 9/11 happened, I was a mess. I mean,
Yeah, I remember that
I
too. I
couldn't
remember
even,
where it was. I remember everything. I'd
yeah,
actually, sorry, but I skipped school that day because I didn't feel good. And so I was actually home when
yeah,
that happened
yeah,
because little intuitive empath me knew something was wrong before it even happened.
right.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So I remember that feeling of just being like, oh my God, what is wrong with this world? Like, are we gonna, I mean, I thought we were gonna die back then. You know what I mean? It was so like, it just hit me really, really hard. So when this happened, I was like, I can't let myself get that way. And then going through everything I've gone through recently, I'm just like, nope, it's not, you're not gonna bring me down. You're not. Um,
I like how you said that too, like just to kind of piggyback on what you just said. You took something that was actually like pretty disturbing and pretty tragic. 9/11. I mean, we've all been affected by that. I still run into people telling stories, you know, I knew someone or my loved one was in there or whatever, or even now, like firefighters who are getting sick from the time that they spent there, like right on ground zero. But you're like, listen, I remember that
yeah,
and I've done all this work. So how can I use this as a learning tool to not re-experience things from that tragic point of view that you were in before? Because you
right.
have more tools now,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
tools, more knowledge, better network, a
yeah.
little more to go on. And so, and you mentioned the awakening. So let's
Yeah. So when I got into, so it has to go back to the conspiracy part of it too, because when I got in, started going down the conspiracy part of it, it brought me to all this new knowledge that I had never even thought that I would come across. Like, why do I know this stuff? I kept thinking like, um, but I think that helped to get me to that point. I forget where I was going to go on the awakening part of it.
well, maybe we got to talk about conspiracy theory
Yeah.
a little first because
Yeah.
some people might be going, what is she talking about? Like, and I love conspiracy theories, but I'm actually so removed from the media right now that
Yeah. And I am too. This is just all downloads I'm getting. Like, go look at this, go figure this out, go dive into this one, and then going and finding this, and then opening, going down the rabbit hole of them all.
Mhm.
Um, they're interesting going on right now. Um, I don't know if you want to. I don't know. Do
Let's
you want
go for it. Dive in. Give it. Get some good
to?
info.
So let's back up a little bit. Okay. One of my first downloads I got was to look at an ascension report. And I got a ascension report that was kind of way over my head, and I didn't really understand it. And that made me dive even more deeper and try to figure stuff out. Um, I get a lot in my, I don't know how to explain it that much right now. I'm still like learning all this stuff too. So, um, I just got nervous.
That's okay. We all do. That's spirit. But it's funny, like when you say this, I think of like the awareness aspect. Like you a download, like it's an awareness. You're like,
Yep.
something's getting my attention. Like I'm
And
being called to look at something. And because someone might even say, well, what the hell's a download? Like, what does she mean? Well, it's like an awareness of some piece of information or something that you would benefit from doing. Something that they're like, hey, like here's a little sprinkling of magic for you and go ahead and follow it.
yeah,
I think that's cool the way you're like, okay, like I got this, it came to me, I looked it up, and then like you said, it was over your head. So that's actually a good thing because your train didn't stop there. You didn't just stop with here's an ascension report and you're like, okay. It was more like, wow, there's more. There's more. I want more.
yes. I just wanted to learn. I spent probably 3 days up here printing out I mean, I have a whole notebook of like craziness. I'm like, um, but it's fun.
Probably a lot of other people out there doing the same thing that you're doing, spinning their wheels, going, I'm searching for answers, I'm searching for purpose. I know that there's a purpose behind this.
Yes.
I need
So
more.
that brought me to that there's more. There's more going on, and that made me um that's kind of what made me be okay with all of this going on. Just knowing that there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about that's getting taken care of, and it eventually will come to the light. It just needs to get tossed up right now and figured out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like the way you said it because I think a lot of times we go through things in life in general, and as we're kind of going through it, or as it's getting thrown in our face, it's overwhelming, it's crushing, it's
Mm,
heartache, heartbreak, and sit there and sometimes I think people fall into that like, why is this happening? Why me? Why would this ever occur? And da 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 da, and it rabbit holes into like kind of a scary place,
yeah,
but sometimes that change of perception, that ability to go and look back and be like, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't have that conversation with you right now. I wouldn't have the awareness that there's more going on.
yeah,
So it's almost like pulling that, like for me, it's like pulling that energy in of being like, okay, if I can be thankful for the other things that have gone on, can I apply that to what's happening right now?
right.
And can I use that learning lesson for right now?
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I was pretty excited when I got the information. It was like answering questions from when I was like 18 years old, sending stuff out to the universe. Like, I want answers, And then it was like, nope, we're not going to tell you for another 20 something years.
Isn't that so much fun? Someone this morning was like, how do you know like all this stuff from spirit? I'm like, 17-year journey talking to spirit every single day,
Yep.
and here we are. And like you said, like I feel like I've tossed things out 17 years ago,
Yep.
and yeah, the answers are coming now. It's a long time to wait.
Yeah, it is a long time to wait. Yep.
Worth it though.
Divine timing, I guess. It
Yeah.
was worth it. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And coming from that place of just acceptance, gratitude, uh,
Mhm.
positive thinking, positive vibration. And so that's the other thing too. Like your path, I feel like it kind of kept you in this positive state of mind and connected to higher vibrational material.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to keep us safe. That's what's going to keep us in a place where we have a better chance at fighting things off if we were to have to deal with something
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual. And so keeping that vibration up, in my opinion, is one of the best assets that we have doing this
Mhm.
work,
Yeah, absolutely.
protecting us.
Yep.
And so let's talk about some of the good things that come from this. Like, what are some of the benefits for the people that are struggling right now that cannot see this as a gift in any way, shape, or form? What advice can we give them? Like, what can we talk
Let's
about?
go easy. Let's go easy first, all right?
All
Let's
right.
go with all these people say that they have so much that they want to get done while they were so busy working, you know, or doing other things. Now they have this time. Get it done.
Yep.
Use it as a blessing.
That's a huge one. That's a huge one. Because think about it every day, you know, for however long, people waking up going, oh, I wish I didn't have to go to work today. I
Right.
wish I didn't have to go to work today. I wish I had more time to do the leaves or to clean the kitchen or to go through the cabinets or, oh, I would love to do this. Oh, but I don't have time.
Yep.
Like you said the other day, we asked for this.
Yes, we did.
Maybe
Absolutely.
not in this exact manner, but we did ask for time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
There's
cannot.
not a human on this world that doesn't want this in some way, shape, or form. Some they're sitting there, thank God I have a minute to rest. Like,
Yeah, I totally agree. And even for people who are on the front lines who are struggling and seeing horror stories. I mean, I've had some friends that have given some horror stories, and my heart goes out to them, and I send them healing every single day and send them protection every single day because I feel like that's what I can do for them.
right.
And so hearing them, they're even saying, like, I appreciate the other nurses more. I appreciate the other positions more.
Mhm.
Firefighters and EMTs, they're working together. People are putting on different hats
Yeah.
that they've never worn.
Yeah.
And so, if nothing else, for those people, empathy and things like that, these core qualities that we can thrive and grow on as a soul, they're
Yeah.
experiencing them. You know, and I talked to one woman, she's like, you know, I kind of become hardened. And she's like, I didn't want to become that person that like didn't care about my patients. I care, but sometimes I just didn't have time for small talk.
Right.
And the other day we were talking and she's like, I just wish I could talk to them and ask them how they're doing.
Yeah.
And so she had become calloused in a way. And here this has broken off that callus for her. And even though she's been a nurse for almost 30 years, her perception is now back to what it was when she first started, something
Yeah.
that she had lost.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I think that's a big one for these people that they're right in there. They're in it. They're in the thick of it. Um,
They're getting sent to war right now for crying out loud.
yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Which again, send healing, send protection, send the higher vibrations. I feel like that's what all of us can do
Yeah.
sitting at home, is just keep sending them love. And if they're not open and willing to receive that love, may someone else receive it
Yep.
and set up that overflow, that waterfall.
Yep.
So that is a good one. Yeah, my yard has never looked this good, I will say. But today's raining, so that's why we're doing this.
Your house is gonna look awesome inside.
No, it's so true. The dogs are happy
Yeah.
and neighborhood kids are happy. They can yell out and say hi and
Oh yeah.
trinkets out there. And, you know, so that's a big one. I like that one.
Yeah.
What are some other goodies? What else can we talk about and share? What can we put into people's minds?
Let's see. How about just the planet wise? I mean, people not being out,
Yeah.
driving around, all that pollution, all the water, the animals are like back out in like the middle of the streets for crying out loud in those countries right now. I feel like the animals around here too have been acting differently.
I agree. I agree. We had a red squirrel in our yard yesterday. I was talking to him and I was trying to tell him to walk further into the light because his angle was no good. And I swear he like took 3 steps and looked at me like, no. It's like, you can hear me. I know you can.
Yep.
That's cool. No, I totally agree with that. I love seeing those posts. I've definitely had to filter
Yeah.
my screen time and filter who is coming onto my screen because some of the non-factual information that was fear-based, I just felt like that was taking me from the joy places, like what you're talking about, these lowering of the pollution, the opening up of the animals, the fact that the zoo animals getting to go see each other.
I know. Did you see the thing about the pandas?
Yeah. I don't freaking blame them. I'm
I
sorry.
know.
It's a private moment, damn it.
Yeah, they've had eyes on them for 15 years in there.
I know. We're gonna have to tell them they're still on camera, but a little panda voyeurism. I don't know. Yeah.
That is cool.
But yeah, that was cool. I was kind of laughing at that one. This morning, I noticed a post about pollution and smog going down in the Himalayas, like being
Oh,
able to
yeah.
actually see the mountains again. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, that was really, really neat. We took a drive down the other day to Hull, and I was just kind of looking for rocks along the water.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like, looking across the way and like looking at Boston, everything seemed so clear. It was
Oh,
just,
yeah.
I don't know, it looked different.
Yeah.
Looked
It
different.
feels different when you go outside.
I agree.
Definitely.
I agree.
Definitely. And I feel like what was it, after the meditation, that was Saturday, so Sunday morning, like ever since that has been a huge shift, although that was the full moon too, so you got a lot going on.
I know, right? Like all these number sequences, full moon sequences, like everything is lining up.
There's portals opening up, it's like
Yeah.
holy
Right.
crap.
And then I was joking around. I was like, how does this go? Dodge, dive, duck, and dodge again? Like, is that what we're doing today? And then the next day was the meditation. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was almost like you could feel that build
Oh,
up.
that day was crazy.
Yeah, like it was getting ready to be released. And it was like you could just feel it coming in from all angles. And
Yeah.
even I noticed the posts on Facebook were really negative. It was like all about the gloves and about not helping people out, and blah, 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 blah. And then that meditation started, and at first I was like, oh, this feels sad. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is really sad. And then as everyone kind of kept going into it, all of a sudden I'm like, and I noticed myself taking a deep breath. And then I was like, oh, and then total switch.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I was like, yay, like this feels awesome. And yeah, you could feel the fact that the healing, it was working.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a great meditation. I hope they do another one. Somebody, I'm sure they will, but another world one.
Come on, girl, go for it. Why not? No pressure. Oh, but that's cool. Yeah, it does. And that's cool too. You say like it feels different. So people who are struggling in the beginning, it's time for another check-in. It's not time for another like check your energy. What's going on? Are you caught up in the hamster wheel? Are you just spinning because last week you didn't feel good?
Yeah.
How do you really feel now?
Right.
And that moment of quiet and that moment of stillness, sometimes it's like, oh wow, I'm different. I just hadn't taken the time to stop and
Just stop.
hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, it's very true. It's very
Yeah.
true. So that's a really good point that you bring up is, it does feel different.
Yes.
Yeah. I love the other day, like my neighbor's outside right now, and the other day looking down the street, we had a fire going. The neighbor had a fire going. The one after them had a fire going. The one down the street. And I mean, we're kind of a little spread out down this road, but it was so neat to see all the fire going up because fire is so transformational.
Yeah.
They're healing themselves by watching the fire, by burning the old, by spending that time connecting to the land and being outside all day. When, I mean, this was like a weekday. Most of these people, they would have been at work. They would have been inside, sitting in an office, staring at a screen, or aggravated at coworkers, missing their family, thinking, like you said, about all the things they didn't have time to do.
Right.
And now they have so much time that they get to stand outside in the glory of the beautiful day and connect with the earth.
And do nothing if they want. Like there's nothing anybody has to go do really, like just chill and relax.
Yeah, I agree. And even like the people who are working, like I've talked to a couple people and they're like, well, I'm still working. I'm like, yeah, you're still working, but all these other things that you used to fill the rest of your time with, they're not open.
You can't go do that.
Right. And
Yeah.
so it's almost like, okay, well, if you can't go do that, you do have time on your hands. You're not going to go to the grocery store every day. You're not going to go maybe every week. Maybe now it's every 2 weeks you go.
Right.
And so that's right there. We might have just bought you 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's better than what you had before.
Right.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yep.
And I like what you said too, like having all this time makes people work on themselves.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, because nobody would have done this if they didn't have to.
Right. Right. Or
You
if
have to now. Do
yeah, there isn't no time.
it.
I love it. It's true. It's so true. And like, I kind of felt like in the beginning that if we didn't go within, at least most of us, maybe not everybody can, but if those of us who are having this extra time on their hands, I felt like it was like, okay, time to go within.
Yeah.
And my personal theory, because I love talking about nature, we had this time off and then everybody was like, do, 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 and went off and did their thing. And Mother Nature was like, no, you need to go reflect. I'm going to make it rain for 5 days straight. I was like, you bitch. But no, it was good though, because people did. They had to come inside. They had to cleanse their environment. They had to raise the vibration of their environment. They had to deal with their own stuff. They had to maybe look at some of these tough conversations that they haven't had with family members, that they haven't had with their children. Maybe they were avoiding something prior that can't be avoided now.
Can't be avoided. Yep.
You're home together. Guess what? Gotta have to talk about shit.
Yeah. It's time to make it or break it. Because
Someone posted a thing like, how many couples are getting divorced during quarantine?
the
I'm just
divorce rate is like huge, so high right now.
oh my God. But I'm like, maybe this will save some people. Maybe they've been sitting here going within in their own selves, not having these conversations because there's not enough time in the day.
Right.
And they're always working, they come home, then the kids are present, and then they try to make dinner and everything else. And one of them really has something in their heart they want to speak about, but they're like, we only have an hour a night. I'm not going to do this now. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
And they go in. And then what happens? We get a heart wall. And then what happens once we get a heart wall? Then you're filing papers, man, because you're probably not working it back out unless something else brings this up.
Right. Right.
So it's big.
Yep.
And I think you had said that in the beginning. You were like, people are going to have to do their work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I kept feeling bad for a lot of people, like kids that are home with their parents that just aren't, paying attention to them, and people that are in shitty relationships and abusive relationships and everything. And I still feel bad for everybody. Not saying that. I just, it's good for everybody. They gotta go in. They do. They gotta do the work and figure it out. Figure out if it's worth it, one, or if it's not, if it's time to go,
Yep, that's a big one, because if all of a sudden you're sitting at home and you're with your significant other and your peace is disturbed on a soul level, well, now you don't have to stick around and wait another year to figure out that you're not happy spending
You're
time
not
with this.
happy. Yeah. Yeah. This is time to figure it out. This is like, you get to be happy after this, That's the way I look at it. That's like, everybody's going through their dark night of the soul.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And then it's like on the other side of this is a place that is so beautiful that I think some people can't even comprehend that beauty. It's not really in their wheelhouse just yet, but it's coming. It's coming. And those people who have been through that dark night of the soul before, they'll tell you like, wow, was that a shit place to be in? But the blessing on the other side, it comes with such a sense of peace for the journey.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here doing that. This wouldn't be happening if I didn't go through my dark night of the soul and have to sit and figure shit out. Like,
I agree. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, it's been a long process, but for me, it was like taking some of the darkest moments in my life and saying, well, how can I honor this time? Like, how can I give honor to this moment and the things that have happened? Because I'm not really one to sit back and say, woe is me, oh my goodness, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why me? I just wasn't programmed that way.
Yeah.
And so I think for some people that are programmed that way, I think that's why this journey is so important right now, and to reach out and to find people that you can talk to, or even just jump on the computer and find a conversation like this, because maybe not everything resonates, but maybe one piece resonates.
Yeah, you're gonna get what you need to get out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's often what it takes. Like I say to people, you have this dark room, you're in this dark place. Well, all you have to do is crack the door.
Mhm.
If you crack the door open, you can see. You might not be able to get the whole picture. You not be able to make out every single thing on the wall, but you can see.
Yeah.
And so for me, I feel like taking this time to crack that door, to get the light, and then follow the light. All I gotta do is follow it. Where can you get more light? How can I open that door a little bit more? Where can we muster up the strength to open the door a little bit more?
'Cause it'll
And
keep coming.
yeah, yeah. And I think the pressure comes in. I don't know about for you, but everyone thinks that, or in my eyes, a lot of people think that it comes instantaneously, that you're like, I want to get the whole picture and I want to be healed. So I'm going to be healed now, damn it.
Oh my God, no.
I had one Reiki session. Why am I not fixed? I journaled 10 pages.
I was like that at the beginning. I was so impatient. I just wanted it. I wanted it over, I didn't want to have to sit in that pain. It probably took until last week when I finally was just like, enough is a freaking enough. I'm not feeling this anymore. I have this time. I'm working on me. Go with it.
Yeah. And that's cool. Do you think you would have found that place without this time of separation?
Nope. Not even close.
That's
Nope.
huge.
I would have been on the hamster wheel too.
And for a moment of transparency, how much do you feel like you're already been working on your journey? Do you feel like you work on your journey every single day? Do you do your healing work every single day? Or is it something that you're like, I thought about healing work today? Because I watch you and I feel like you're constantly doing
Oh, I do it all day long. That's pretty much all I do is work on that. I've come to the point pretty much that I don't care. I gotta work on me, fix me before I can do anything else. And I'm not letting anybody else get in my way of that this time.
I like that. I like that fierce determination.
Yeah.
Like I always used to kind of joke when people be like, ooh, you having a moment. I'm like, no, I'm not being a bitch. I am putting my foot down that this is what's important to me. This is what I believe in. This is my journey. This is my day. This is my life. If you don't like it, get out of my way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hurting anyone. And as long as we're not hurting anyone, then our self-work is awesome. Our self-work is beautiful. Like, yeah, do we have to maybe have some conversations that are uncomfortable with people or whatever? Yeah. But are we actually hurting them? No. If anything, we're a mirror. We're mirroring to them maybe what they haven't had a chance to take a look at yet.
Right.
And I do think our journey pulls up other people. So it's like we all work together, we make a step, and then the other person is like, let me think about that.
Yeah.
And they take their steps. And you're like, oh my God, look what you just did. That motivates me. I'm going to do it. And this is how we start to operate, is pulling each other up. If you're around the right people in your life, you will continually pull each other up.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Feel like this, they don't belong in your life. And how many people, I know in my life, I tried this for a very long time. If I felt like this, what's wrong with me? Why are they doing this to me? Why don't they like me? What do I have to change about me?
Yeah, nothing.
Bingo. Bingo. Not always about us.
That was a hard lesson. That was a hard one to learn, to figure that one out. But yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool to come from a place of being just yourself. And if people love and accept you, then they're right for you. Mm-hmm. And if you're being yourself and people are ridiculing you for that or giving you a hard time, well then, yeah, it's maybe time to... I love it.
I wrote this to myself before.
That's cool.
It's sitting right here, just in case I got nervous, I could look at it and go, who cares?
Yep. That's right. I had a little note up there. I just took it down, but it said, wake the fuck up. And so I had actually read the language, but I had put that on there after we had gone for our walk in the very beginning when this first started, and you were saying, this is good, this is good, this is good. And so I was like, all right, well, I need to see that. And so recreating my home office and doing all these things, my note to myself was, wake the fuck up, see how this is good. Don't sit here and wallow in changes or bills or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I haven't even thought about, I mean, I don't have my own business and that kind of stuff. You have more that you have to worry about. But I mean, I still have bills and stuff, but I've just like forgot about it. Like, I can't stress over that right now. Like, that's not what this is about. It's not about the money. Like, that'll figure itself out. You have to focus on this part of it, because the money part is what is the fear part.
Yeah.
If you focus on that, you might as well just watch the news still.
Ugh.
You know?
It's so funny. So for the past week, we have been saying we're going to get up and watch the news, but our typical schedule, we stay up late, we get up a little bit later, whatever. So today I was like, oh, we made it in time for the news. Then the cat got sick, and then something else fell, and then we're doing all this stuff. By the time I turned the TV on, the news had just ended, and I'm like, oh, you guys are good. We're not meant to watch this news. Like, I don't need to see that right now.
No, you'll get in time, it'll all come out. You'll get what you need from it, and it won't matter.
And for small business owners, just to kind of touch on that, like, that was tough. So the first few days I reached out to my student loan company, and they were already shut down. There was no one there to answer the phone calls. I asked for forbearance, never went through. So my student loan of $378 still came out. And so that was like day one, day two. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to contact my mortgage company and just say, I don't know how long this is going to last. And so I'm going to be proactive, and I'm going to call. They were already on a limited crew. And so I'm like, all right, well, I know I'm going to need my student loan money then, and I know I'm going to need this money. And so then I was like, okay, what are my skills that I can apply from home with this isolation time that will still bring in enough abundance to make sure that I'm not in a worse situation when this ends? Because
so you're not worrying, and
exactly, that I'm not in a hole I can't get out of, basically. If I don't pay my mortgage for 3 months, it might be a tough one to get out of. They might have a problem with my insurance. If I don't pay my student loan for a few months, which honestly it was on auto draft, so I couldn't even figure out how to get my banking information out, which I was going to do that. Didn't work. And so instead of panicking, I just kind of was like, hey, Spirit, like, come through and give me enough to get by where I can still work on myself during this time.
Yeah.
Clients started coming in, and I did enough bookings and things like that everything got paid. And then the second that everything was set, I was like, okay, time to take a break and work on myself again. And then I got to pull back. And in the beginning, people were like, run classes, do this, do that. And I'm like, I can't yet. I can't. This is about me. This is my time. If I jump right. Yeah. And that's for us healers. Like, I think some of the healers were feeling guilty that we weren't like right there for all of our people. We weren't fully available for all of our people. We're people too. We got shit too. No matter where you are in your journey, you still have more work to do. I don't care.
This was a shock to everybody, like a shock to everybody's system, no matter what.
Yeah. And it came quick too. It was like, oh, no large groups. I'm like, oh, we're good. Then it was like, no one less than 10. I'm like, that might be tough. And then it was like complete isolation. I'm like, okay, so this is where we're at. This is where I'm going to consider my reality to be.
Right.
And this is how we're going to operate until things change.
Right.
And that was actually a really peaceful place to be. And it's birthed new things, which I think this is a time of rebirth and a time of creation. We've been doing this journey together for a while. Why have we never done this?
I know. Well, we've been face to face. I don't know. We didn't have time for it.
Yep. Didn't have time. This whole idea was never in our conceptual reality.
No.
It didn't make sense to do this. We didn't feel a calling for this. But this is our new reality right now.
Yeah.
And these are some of the blessings. I do feel like there's a lot of blessings coming out of this. I don't know about you.
Oh, I do. I fully, like 100%, like from the bottom of my heart, feel like there's like so much good that's going to come out of all of this.
Yeah, I feel it too.
On all different like levels of everything.
Right. Yeah. Even like the few things we've touched on, the earth, the animals, the friendships, the neighborhood dynamics, the vibration.
Yep.
The vibration is going up, even though I think a lot of people still see it going down because they're feeding into that fear and things like that. And oh my goodness, blah, 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 blah. It's actually starting to go the other way, I think, at this point. I think things are starting to go up. We're starting to be positive. We're starting to have hope instead of hopelessness. I think some of these things are starting to shift.
Yeah.
And then that's my question is, if the overall vibration shifts, does that heal parts of us that needed healing that we have not looked at yet? Do some of those vibrations no longer fit? And so if this is starting to shift, are we healing hopelessness within ourselves because the universal energy has more hope?
Mm.
Yes, you go to conspiracy theories, I go to daydreams.
That's that.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my thing. We have all these people that, like you said, they hadn't been going inside. Like you said, they hadn't been doing their work. They hadn't been making time for things. Well, now is the earth and the collective energy taking care of that for them? Is it doing the work in a way for them? As long as their higher self is open and willing and ready to receive, which I think all of us on some level are.
Some level, yeah.
Maybe not fully open, but I think soul level that, yeah, at least a little bit's allowed in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on a soul level, every single being wanted this and is receiving what they can for their evolution and what's going to help them on their evolution. Because not everybody's on the same timeline either.
That's huge.
So
Time ain't real, so which people are gonna go, huh? What? But it's not real. That's why we need to have leap years, because it's not perfect.
Yep, mama.
If it's perfect, we wouldn't have to make up for things every 4 years.
Yep.
So that's just my side theory,
Cool.
side theory on that. But you know, I do agree that some of these hidden blessings, we don't even know what they are yet. We have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah. And I think a lot of them probably aren't going to come to blessings for a while, that, you know, stuff you think is a blessing. I think there's going to be stuff that like we're going to think is a blessing and then it's going to turn into not a blessing, but then in a way go back to being a blessing. Like,
Yep.
there's like so much weird stuff going on. It's bizarre.
I get what you're saying there. I do. Because I think things have to do one of these. There has to be an ebb and flow
Yeah.
for
And
healing.
there's the fighting too going on with the work, like the good and the bad. So like you're gonna have this peak of good, and then it's gonna go down, and then we're gonna fight back and come back up. And
It's a good analogy. I was using the tug of war rope this morning with someone, and
oh yeah,
you know, this is a tug of war, and you know, this side lines up and they're all the negative stuff and they're pulling, and these ones get sucked in. Well, all of a sudden these ones are like, whoa, we're losing shit, and they yank the rope back the other way. And so it's the same analogy you gave, and great visualization for people who are visual, who need to almost see a visual way of understanding what's going on right now. Because everyone learns different. Everyone is going to apply their concepts different. You know, I don't know about you, but seeing all the kids running around and playing and coming up with games, that's been another cool thing to see.
yeah, seeing the people outside in general, like whether you're a kid or an adult, like people out doing yard work is like mind-blowing to me. Like it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the kids the other day. They had their hoverboards and they were actually doing remote control cars in front of their hoverboards. And so they were racing on their hoverboards, but actually they were the remote control cars. And they come up with this whole game that they were doing. And it was like, wow, you know, they would be sitting in a classroom right now. Yeah, granted, learning something. They're learning by doing that. They are learning major skills, how to navigate things, how to do things. They are tactically thinking through how can they win this race. They have to use their balance. It's actually bringing them more coordination, more grounding, more body control, more emotion control. And yeah, that's great if these kids know how to do math and science and this and that. And I totally believe in school, don't get me wrong. we've lost touch on some of the other skills that these kids need, a greater awareness and a greater ability to actually control what's going on
Yes.
in their body. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know, and they don't know how to control it. We've lost all these coping skills,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
one.
None of that gets taught in the school. That's probably one of the reasons why all this is happening for them right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that we've lost touch on how much pressure we put on kids. We've lost touch on the fact that we put them through a grueling schedule. I mean, I cannot wake up at 7 a.m. Like, how,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
no. And so I think of things like that, and I'm like, these kids kind of deserved a break. And are their bodies and are their minds and are their souls going to be healthier by
Mm-hmm.
having this time to reset?
Yeah.
Mhm. And the arts, that's the other thing. Everyone's singing.
Oh
What's
yeah.
saving us right now? Music,
Music.
fitness, learning books and things like that, networking, recipes, all these different things. Like the basics are coming back. How to sew.
Yes. Yep. Granted, we're all learning on YouTube, but we're learning.
We're
But
still
that's what it's for, you know? I fought technology for so long, and I'm like, shit, what the hell was I fighting technology for? I need this.
Yep, I hear you. Because I was like, I think I actually put Zoom on my computer when it first started, and I was like, this is too many options. I don't understand why I have to deal with this and this and this. Nah, screw it. And I got rid of it. Now I'm like, we had Zoom the other night, and granted, the girl from Virginia had some problems getting in, but we had people all the way from Virginia to Ontario.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's connecting like the world on a whole new level. I mean, you can connect through phone and stuff and that kind of stuff, but to bring people's faces together on the computer is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. We had, I think it was like 11 or 12 of us in there, and it's like the Brady Bunch on the
I
screen.
took a picture of it actually, of
That's
that
awesome.
class, because I was like, this is pretty cool with all these people on here.
It is. I was pumped. Like my whole day, I was like, someone from Canada is going to be in class tonight. Like, that's not going to happen. I mean, I've already been blown away by the fact that people travel an hour to come to class sometimes. And like, I'm honored to
Yeah.
see people making that kind of a commitment and to feel the camaraderie between the group. Like, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
And it's huge for me. But to actually see these networks reaching out, and like from our group, Adrian making a connection in another mediumship circle with the girl from Canada, and they hit it off, and then here she is joining in with us, and now we're getting readings from someone in Ontario.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, I so want to do a Zoom with like someone from every single state in there, so we can have like 50 people on the screen. And,
Oh yeah, goals.
you know, right? I'm like, come on, this is a good game. Can you tell me some level still? Working on my
Even if you give it to us for once.
all I'm asking. My internet will go out and everyone will be gone. I'm like,
Oh my God, stop it.
I know. It was funny the other night for all of our viewers. Mid-class, everyone's in it, and my internet goes out. I'm like, oh my God, bad teacher.
Where'd Sarah go?
Yeah, at least my picture pops up, so there's that. But I was like, oh my goodness. But that's one of the things. Like, we're learning technology. Things don't always go perfectly. Doesn't mean we can't try.
Yeah.
And no one minded the fact that the technology pulled a prank on us. Like, everyone still had a great time.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing. Because I think some people are nervous
Yes.
learning technology and trying new things, but it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else? What else is on your mind about this that you want to get out to the universe? Anything else going on?
We just covered pretty much everything that I had written down for this one.
I think it's definitely a lot of good topics and a lot of good points that we covered here. And I do think that there's someone out there that needs to hear some of this, if not many people.
Yeah.
But you definitely made a big difference for me in the beginning. And it's kind of like I tell people, you know, we are the lighthouse when we sign up to be healers. And on that day, like, you were my lighthouse. And so that was cool that, you know, we can see each other, pulling each other up and helping each other along this journey.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the teacher in the beginning was. We're all teachers.
Yeah.
We're all teachers. I just
Yeah.
happen to have a room that we could sit down and chat in.
Yeah.
That's it. So I think that's really neat, of just seeing that we all offer something, and that when we find something that fits, share it. This fits for you, these downloads and this new energy and this healing work and this place of positivity, like this resonates with you.
Yeah.
And so that's when you take that from your heart and share it with the world.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Thanks.
Yay.
Yeah.
Before we end this one, since we didn't in the beginning, because we didn't know how this was going to go and whatever, do you want to just kind of say who you are, what you do, and what your company is, in case people would like to get in contact with you?
Sure. Let's see. I Always Bright Creations. I make dream catches, smudge sticks, t-shirts, anything. I can put anything on anything.
The mirrors, that's a really
the mirrors. Oh, yes.
positive affirmations. Your mirrors are amazing.
Yep. I'm going to launch those pretty soon, I think. Probably next week. I'm working on getting all that up on my website. So that's coming.
Those are really cool. I like those a lot. And do you have a site launched now, or can people just find you on Facebook?
Facebook right now.
Okay.
Always Bright Creations.
There you go.
And there's Instagram too.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw some of your good displays on Instagram lately, which is pretty cool. And then in the background right over here, that triangle thing with everything, that was my dream catcher I made in a class.
Yeah.
She does teach classes. They are a lot of fun. And it's cool to sit and to work together and watch everyone create and stay in that place. It's really awesome. And so for me, if anyone would like to reach out, naturespeakstoyou.com. My name is Sarah Beth, and I typically like to work on mediumship, intuitive development, and Reiki, healing, anything like that. And so I am available on there, also on Facebook and on Instagram, and working on this whole YouTube thing. So. But this was super cool, and I'd love to do this again with you sometime if you'd like. And,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so, I enjoyed it.
Very cool. I am going to stop our recording here.